get started, everybody. We're going to make this fun, engaging. Everybody needs to have their cell phone handy. And we're going to wrap this up in 30 minutes. We are also recording this webinar, and tomorrow we will send out a link where you can look at the slides, and you can also listen to it or watch it again, should you want to. And we're going to talk about reducing friction out of fundraising and how mobile is one possible way to help doing that. A little bit about us, and then we're going to spend the whole time talking about mobile as a way to help you make more money. My name's Dave Ashheim, and I started this company called Give by Sell. We are a division of a larger company, which is all about engaging, and we have a division for museums and a division for training managers and HR, and everything you can think of under the sun that has to do with mobile, we do, but we've got about 4,000 clients in the fundraising space. And they use us for services like what you're going to hear today from Allison, as well as text messaging and all kinds of other cool things. So Allison, there's a picture of you, and tell us what your job is there.
Yeah, so hello everyone. As I mentioned earlier, calling in from Grand Rapids, Michigan today. Yes, we had awful snow this morning, and I'm so over it, along with everyone else over here. So I work for an organization called Van Andel Institute, and we are a nonprofit biomedical research facility. We are located in kind of a medical hub, we call it, around a lot of different hospitals and other organizations that are focusing on research as well. So it's just a really great hot spot in Grand Rapids right now. I work on our development team, so heavy in fundraising and event coordination, a lot of donor relations, and a core of my position is also managing our volunteer component of the organization as well. So happy to be here today and share more with you guys on our experience with Give by Sell and the success that we've had.
And this is where you're located, somewhat
Yes.
near the Great Lakes, and this is this your main building, or you have several buildings, or what's the
Yep, so
layout?
That is our main building, but we do have a segment of our organization called Van Andel Education Institute, and they have a smaller building just down the road from us. But the building in the photo is our main location. It houses all of our research laboratory spaces and our administrative offices.
And just maybe bring everybody up to speed on what you guys do, because it helps put in context for everybody on the call, whether you're a child advocacy or research. So talk just a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we've been around for a little over 20 years now in Grand Rapids, and the focus behind our organization really is disease research. We kind of hyper-focus on cancer and Parkinson's disease, but have various labs that focus on over 20 different diseases right now, amongst over 30 different laboratory spaces in our facility. We have a very generous endowment that actually funds a lot of our overhead costs for the organization. So something that is very unique to us is when we're fundraising, 100% of every dollar that we are raising is going directly back into our research laboratories here. And that's something we take a lot of pride in. It's not super common to, not have your funding going to your overhead costs and everything. Not that any of that is bad. All organizations helping towards a mission are great, but that is just something that we take a lot of pride in our organization. So, yeah.
Allison, we have a couple of people saying it's a little hard to hear you, so maybe even speak louder or closer to your cell phone.
Okay.
And we'll see if Barb, all right, so Barbara, let us know, and Louis, oh, there we go, and others if you can still hear. So you decided to go down the mobile route. How long ago, and how hard was it to convince research scientists and that kind of a conservative organization that it was an okay idea?
Yeah, so we actually just made the switch this past fall, and it was right before we had our annual signature gala. So that's our largest event of the year. So we were like, well, we're going to chance it. But it was a fairly easy switch. Within our development department, we call most of the shots for how we're going to, format our fundraisers. And in the past, we've always done some form of like a paddle raise as a component of our larger scale fundraisers. And I think honestly, just one of my colleagues had heard of Give, Buy, Sell, and so we just set up a demo, I think, and asked some questions with you guys, and we made this switch fairly quickly. So we're happy that we did this past fall.
And you're using mobile. Explain a little bit about the big and the small events and just kind of how did you first use it? And then I think you mentioned to me the other day you're thinking of rolling it out even a little bit more broadly.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, just for our main fundraiser this past fall, a large component to the fundraising aspect is the paddle raise that we do each year. And we house over probably 900 guests at that fundraiser each fall. So it's our biggest event that we have to plan for. And a component to the paddle raise is in the past, there's so much of the back end preparation for that. And then, gosh, after it takes place, all the invoicing and the back end recording to try and track down those gifts that people are pledging during a paddle raise. So we were like, wow, the option to have people give immediately, like right on the spot at our event, and have the payment processed right away, just to alleviate so much of kind of the stress afterwards and just the ease of the use of the mobile give. That was what we were really excited about. And so, like I said, that was our largest event this past fall. But this spring, we're transitioning to using Mobile Donate for it's actually a third-party event that we're hosting this coming week at a local hockey game where we'll just post about, this is the number, this is our code word that you text to give, and anyone in the audience throughout the night will be able to donate as they please. So we're excited to see how that goes this Friday, actually.
You sent us some photos of various events. Tell us about what this event is.
Yes, I picked this one because that is actually me in the red down on the floor in the middle, just fixing my hair, doing my thing apparently. But this is our Hope on the Hill fundraiser for the Institute. So this is the component where we've got our live auction, our paddle raise, and then our entertainment program going on in the evening. This is taking place in our auditorium, and this year's theme was actually Kentucky Derby, so hence the funky hats that you might see on some of the guests in the audience. So yeah, this is one of our really fun events that we look forward to each year, and our MCs are who facilitated the paddle raise for us this year.
And we're going to talk about demographics later, but it doesn't look like these are millennials in the audience.
No. We have a wide range of guests that are usually in attendance, but they tend to be a little on the older side, I guess. Like, no offense to anyone in the room, but yeah, people who maybe are very tech friendly, and others who are not so much. So a wide range.
All right, and another few images. What's going on here other than these ladies are having a really good time?
Yes, that is our celebration at the end of the night, saying we just had our most successful year ever this past year. So that is my team. We all are on the event side of our fundraising. So yeah, those are 5 of my colleagues here at the Institute.
All right. We touched on it. Tell us a little bit about your attendees, because so many of the folks that are on the call, we've got 160 or so people that have dialed in. I'm sure they're thinking to themselves the same thing that you and your colleagues were thinking about. Your audience at these bigger events is comprised of people 50 to 80 probably, not 15 to 25. And they're never going to take out their phone and make a $500 or $5,000 gift on their phone. So tell us a little bit about what you found out about your demographics and whether they were willing to use mobile.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first time that we tried it for our Hope on the Hill fundraiser, we were actually very surprised at the amount of gifts that did come through the mobile donate, just with it being our first time trying it. And we had our own skepticism about, gosh, we do have a lot of those older generation guests. How is this going to go over? And we were blown away at the success that we had with how we were able to just set up the mobile donate page on the back end. It is so easy, and just you can make it as clear as you'd like, so that when someone does log in to their cell phone, it is incredibly user friendly. So it's very low barrier for, you know, anyone who's maybe really tech savvy or not so tech savvy to participate. And then, not to jump ahead here, but to also offer the alternative that we had for those guests who were kind of anti just cell phones altogether. We do have some of those even in today's day and age. We created just a postcard size little paper that we actually handed out as a pledge card. So for those individuals that were not comfortable using their phone, or they just did not have it with them, they're still able to participate by just handing out or filling out a hard copy of the same information that they would have found on the mobile donate page. And then we just have our volunteers in the audience collecting those forms and bringing them back up to our staff at the end of the night. So always to get involved. So.
Let's show everybody what your page looked like and how this would go. So we use the word institute, but go ahead, Allison, just tell everybody, just as if you were in front of all of the folks in the audience, what to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So the instructions are so basic. All we did is we displayed, this is your keyword to text. So according to the presentation, you would text in the word institute in just the body of your text message. And you would send that message to the number 56512. And I believe that you would just receive a message with the link in order to donate. And so from there, you follow the link, and you would end up on our own customized page that we created for that specific event, just displaying the donate options and payment information.
Let's everybody try it. So go ahead, everybody. If you're in the U.S., text Institute. Don't worry about capital letters to 56512. And if you're in Canada, text train, then put a little space and Institute to 393939. And in the chat window, Barbara or Annie or Linda or Michael or Brian, let us know what you get back. I'm putting on the screen the dashboard for this little demo account, and you should get back, Amanda, Emily, you got it? Excellent. You should get back what I've typed in here. Thank you for joining us. And Allison would have customized this for her evening. And this link can go to your donation page if you want to. We have our own platform you can use if you wish. We also capture everybody that texts in. We promise we will not spam you folks after the presentation, but just to show you all the folks that are texting in. As you're texting in, I can click see subscribers, and here are the people. 95 of you have texted in. Vicki wants to know the number again. Vicki, let me show you on the screen. Here's the number, Vicki. Text 56512. They call that a short code, and text the word Institute. And what can be done now is, once you have got people texting in, Julio in our marketing department throughout the presentation is going to send you one or two fun little examples. So during Allison's 2 or 3 days, if she wanted to, she could send a text out at 5 o'clock saying, dinner is in the ballroom, thanks again, click this link, watch this video, make it much more participatory. And then at the end of the night or end of the weekend, She could text everybody to say, would you like to remain on our text message list? And if so, now you've got your beginnings of a text message system. So that is how easy it was. And Allison, you didn't have people having big problems with this, right?
No, nope.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is we had some audience members that needed to rely upon their offspring. So like, I can't read my phone. Can you do it? So that was our only issue.
Yeah. All right. So Brian is asking, is this our platform or theirs? This screen, you're seeing me circle it, this page is a page that Allison built. And Allison, I'm taking it, it's pretty easy for you to make changes
Yes.
and use these pages.
Yep, I am not in any way like a very tech savvy person, but to customize these pages on the back end is so smooth.
And your decision to use this landing page versus, I'm sure that Van Andel has their own donation page. Most of our clients end up using our templates and platform, and it doesn't really matter to us. What's your thinking on that? And in fact, we just have a question from Uraldi Corona, and that's right, Uraldi. If you wanted to, this little link that you see right here, this HTTP, that can go to this landing page, or it can go to your page. And because you have control over what this says once somebody texts in the word institute, then you can direct it anywhere you want. But Allison, what's your kind of thought about having it go to a computer designed landing page versus something like this? What's the pros and cons?
Yeah, so, and this is something I kind of touched on earlier. Like we said, we're transitioning kind of through multiple events throughout this year. So for me to have the ability to go in there and to customize it, color scheme, donation amount, what language we want specific to each event, just I feel like makes it more fun for the donor who's participating on the actual mobile donate side. So yeah, we just didn't even really think we have our own donation link as well. But it's, just our standardized page, but that takes a lot of work to update and to make specific towards each event. So the usability and just customizing these pages for the different uses that we have is really what we enjoyed about it.
And I think that's why most folks use this, is because if you have lots and lots of events, you may not have an event where you want to have a suggested $2,500 amount. You might want one for $10,000, or you might want one for $25 if it's for students. So what's beautiful is you don't have to go to your web designer or your IT people to say, hey, the Van Andel Institute donation page, I want you to change it. And they're going to say, well, I don't want to change it just for your event tomorrow night. So you can come into this dashboard and change it. Exactly. Jennifer's got a question about checkout with Apple Pay and PayPal. And yes, Jennifer, we have those features. You can just check a box and add Amazon and PayPal and Apple and all of that stuff. I mean, Apple Pay, you can do that too. We have not done Amazon Pay, but those are all options that you, as the owner of the account, you can turn on and off. You didn't use PayPal here, Allison. My guess is that's because your audience is not a younger audience, and there was probably not going to be a big demand to have somebody using a PayPal account. But it's possible. If you wanted to do it, you could certainly do it. When you and I chatted earlier this week, you said there were about 4 very obvious reasons why you thought mobile might be the way to go. And let's go through these one by one, and then we'll keep answering questions. So all of the questions on the side, I see one here. Let's take, what about international guests besides Canada? That is a little bit of a problem, because international guests, when they come to, let's say, the US, if they have a phone from Spain, they're not able to text into a short code. So those folks would be handled, I think, the same way that folks that just are not very comfortable with texting, they would either A, fill out a pledge card, or B, Allison, one of your staff, or even you could have texted in for them and filled out the form.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the texting part shouldn't get in the way of your international visitors. It's not quite as seamless, that's for sure. We've got questions about integrating into different applications. What application did you use, and did you bother doing the integration? Let's talk a little bit about integration in your case. What kind of CRM do you use, and how important was that?
Yes, so gosh, my colleague who is like heavy in our database would be able to speak on this better, but we use Razor's Edge for all of our data tracking. And so when he's processing gifts, throughout the past few events, I've not heard any sort of complaints from the system, but truthfully, I would have to check in on the specifics around answering that question. So sorry.
I'll show you one thing. We have a reports tab. This is just about texting, but everything that a person does, you can download as Excel and then upload into a CRM. So if there is some system that you're using that maybe we haven't integrated into, two ways to handle that. One is do what one of you had suggested, use the link that goes into your existing donation page, because then there's no integration. Or B, we could try to integrate into it, or you can just download the data and up it goes. So most of this, there's not really much of an integration issue. I would have thought, Allison, if a Razor's Edge problem had come up, you would have heard it from your colleagues. So my guess is it probably was okay. We have a question about live or silent auction. Have you done auctions, or would you ever use something like this for an auction, Allison?
Yes, so I believe you could. I'm thinking if someone were to win a live auction and just wanted to make their payment right there that night, you could customize the giving amount for that.
Right.
And on the back end, you would just look for that specific amount in the report. And that would be super easy. Probably same thing for a silent auction. If you were to use the program just as, you know, that's your form of checkout that night, I think it would be the same thing.
Yeah, I think that's right. So about 30% of our clients will use this, just like Allison said, at auctions for checking out and actually paying for. And there's a notes field where you can add what you're checking out for. So it's just a really fast way for people to get on their phone the info they need and or to make that donation or payment. Kim has got a question. Can you text just one number? Kim, I'm not sure what you mean. You've got to at least text into the short code like all of you did. You texted into 56512, and then every account has a word. Your word is what, Allison? It's not Institute, it's something else.
Nope, our code word is just VAI.
VAI, right. So you would text in VAI if you happen to be at an event. Kim is saying, texting one person from the back end. Oh, I see. Yeah, in fact, Julio, if you're listing Julio, go ahead into the back end, and Julio will go grab one of these phone numbers. So for example, I'll just do it right now. So here's a 973 number. I'm going to say, hello, you just won the 50,000 trip that your husband bid on. Please see the checkout guy. And I'm going to send this to whoever is 973. And whoever that 973 is, don't make me look bad. Come into the chat window and let me know that you got it. And so Jennifer is asking about customizing the text message. Allison, when you go to this account, do you spend much time customizing your message for the event, or once you've set it up, you just use the same message? You can if you want to, Jennifer, but do you customize that very much?
We generally keep our language the same across the board, but yeah, if I wanted to change it, it would be very, very easy to go in there and just switch up some language.
Right. We've got a question. I want to show the answer to this question. Let me show the answer to the question about customizing the messaging or what information you get. Let me just find this here. These are great questions. Keep the questions coming. This is just a little demo account we have. And this is the dashboard, right, Allison, that you use when you want to build this. So you can, maybe you could just describe what you did when you did your own. You would change buttons and things.
Yeah. So I keep trying to scroll on the screen and I'm like, oh, I don't have control of that.
I love that. Exactly.
We go through and really just update some of the cosmetic stuff on there. So the banner images, the campaign name, the donor preset amounts, like you made a very good point earlier, just about, okay, this is an event where donors have the capacity to give at that $2,000 level, but we change that if we're at an event where it maybe is more of a $25, $50 level. That's something we regularly will change. Gosh, the rest of the stuff really is just kind of the look and feel for the page. So the yeah, the other internal information stays the same.
And you can share. There was a question about what kinds of information you can collect. And what information did you decide to collect? Because our system allows for collecting whatever information you want to collect. How much did you decide that you thought was the right amount for a mobile experience?
Yep, so we kept it fairly simple for a mobile experience because we want those donors to get engaged quickly. We want it to be really quick for them so they're not getting disengaged or, you know, we lose their interest. So pretty high level stuff, first name, last name, phone number, probably an email just so we have a way to contact them if they're not already in our donor database, and then their payment information. So when we generate the report, it's fairly easy to see, okay, X, Y, and Z people are not yet in our database, and we need to get their mailing address from them. So that's where our staff would just reach out and say, hey, thanks for participating with us last week. Can we please get your mailing address and get you our official receipt, or a scenario like that.
And you can run lots and lots of reports to show when people made donations, who made it, and whatever fields you've decided to ask for, address or email, they will all show up here. All of this is going into Razor's Edge, and or if you wanted to, you can save it as Excel. And I'm going to keep going so that we can get through this, and Casey and Julio are going to answer some of your questions on the right on the chat window. There was an interesting question about, can people send a text message in and charge their phone bill? We're one of only a handful of companies in the world that offer that service. You're limited to $50 a donation. So in your case, Allison, that probably would not have been a good idea.
No.
I'm guessing, because you were trying to raise a lot more money than $50 for a person.
Yeah.
But for those that are interested in doing that because you have an event or your audience is like that, then that would be the way to go. Okay, so in terms of back to our 4 reasons, buzz is one. This is what we call a screencast thermometer, and this would be changing constantly during your event, right? Maybe just explain how this works.
Yeah, so the screencast page is, along with the mobile donate page, this is something that I have the ability to customize to our liking very easily on the back end. So this is, again, something that we would be changing for each event to make it more event specific and make it fun and engaging. And the thermometer is honestly what our favorite part is, and also just our event participants love seeing the thermometer rising and rising. So it's just to have that kind of live updating during, kind of the intense, we want people giving, it just makes the whole environment a little more fun and engaging.
Well, and it gives the MC something to talk about. Oh, in this case, hey, Mel, thanks, you're the leader at 400. Who's at your table that hasn't donated? It's a tangible way to get people excited. The other thing that some organizations do is they will promote this screen, whatever it happens to be. This was for Detroit institution, and they'll grab this URL and they will either embed it on their web page before the event, or they'll send it out in an email saying, hey, if you're not going to be able to attend the event, make sure you text in and get your name on the scrolling board. So we've got quite a few organizations now that are finding they're picking up another 20–30% of donations from people that really wanted to donate, but they just couldn't make it to the event. So these screens can be customized. It can be this group against this group, and the background image is just something that you would just easily upload. So it does create a lot of fun and a lot of buzz. And you had said earlier, Allison, that it was pretty easy to set up. So we kind of reviewed this already, where you would just upload your logo and make these changes and upload your background and change it if you wanted to for future events, but it's pretty easy to get this thing going.
Yep.
This is the panel where you can change what the background is for your screencast. Once again, that's fairly easy. You had mentioned in the past that you had lots of people doing paddle raises, but this seems to be more convenient for donors. Talk just a little bit more about that. Do you really, is that really a strong selling point, that all these people in the audience are kind of happy that they don't have to go write a check or go find someone and check out and stand in line? What's kind of your theory on that?
Yeah, so like I said, with our first experience, we were surprised by how much engagement we did have with the wide range of ages that we had in the audience that night. But this photo is actually from one of our most recent events. That's my colleague Mackenzie there with the pledge cards.
Great.
All of the donors, just the feedback that we've gotten as people are leaving the event, they're like, gosh, we love the fact that we don't have to go through a checkout process right now as we're trying to get out the door. They're just like, it was so easy for us to donate right there on the spot. So like I said, from the donor experience side, it's super easy, but also from kind of the back end side and tracking all those gifts, it just makes the checkout process that night a lot less chaotic, and then just overall the gift processing post-event a lot more easy as well.
And I love that you have pledge cards, because not everybody, not 100% of the people in the room either brought their phone or are that comfortable texting. So why not have some pledge cards? You can take those cards and then input them into an offline pledge. Maybe explain how this works so that you're not really caring how people want to do it.
Yeah. So absolutely, this is a tactic that a colleague thought of for, okay, how do we make sure that thermometer that's updating in real time is as accurate as it can be as it's displaying on our screen at these events. So I think I mentioned earlier how we have our volunteers and our staff in the audience handing out those pledge cards and also collecting them as soon as someone fills them out. Also, just for confidentiality purposes, we receive those pledge cards back immediately. But all the pledge cards for the event that was on the screen a minute ago, they're all brought back to me. And so I am sitting kind of behind the scenes, and I can enter these offline pledges very quickly. And so those gifts are still being acknowledged on the screencast site. So like I said, that thermometer is as accurate as possible. So we're seeing if we're reaching our fundraising goal or not. So to have those guests that are still wanting to engage via the pledge cards, it's really fun to still get to include their amounts that night towards our grand total.
Excellent. And here's an example of, must have been a holiday season with your MCs starting to get people to text in. So it's just fun. It's just exciting. You can run reports live if you wanted to. Of course, in Razor's Edge or in Blackbaud, you're going to see this stuff. So you generally don't have to log into our dashboard, but everything that a person does is captured real time. Did you find that you used the reports during the event or only at the end kind of to check stats?
Primarily after the event had already ended. Just again, because of the fact like that thermometer total is everyone who's donated that night. We're like, all right, that $33,000 on the screen, that's what we know we just raised. So yeah, we just didn't really have the need to do any reporting that night at the event, which is also just super nice too.
Excellent. And Julio in our marketing group just said he sent out kind of a funny little image. Let me know in the chat window if any of you got that little image that we just sent out. But you could send out little gifts, little funny things. Okay, Barbara got it right. So that little image of money coming in, that could be a dancing mascot, it could be a quick little video, it could be something funny, but it's just engaging and people really think it's just kind of fun. When we initially talk to organizations, these are the 4 questions we hear. What's the ROI? Are we going to make money from this? It's pretty hard to quantify, but how would you even go about trying to help people think about the ROI for these things, Allison?
Yeah, I mean, so how we made our decision is we just kind of looked at, okay, all of our events throughout the year. We know our main focus for this is we want it to replace our normal paddle raise. So we just kind of totaled up historically, like what's kind of the average we bring in from each event. And is that going to be worth, you know, I think it's an annual fee, is that right?
Yep.
Yep. And so for our organization, it was an easy decision. We were going to fundraise significantly more than what the annual fee was.
Right. Okay. Will the technology actually work at my live event? Because the last thing I want is to get embarrassed. Did you have technical issues at all?
No, nope, not at all, which is one of my fears, being a not tech savvy person, but it was flawless.
All right. How do you recommend people weave the, all right, take out your phone, because you don't want people taking out their phone and playing with it the entire night? Did you center that around the screen, or how did you decide to do that?
So this is actually a very creative idea that was brought by one of our MCs for an event. It was the whole, okay, at this point in the program, we want everyone to take out their phones and take a selfie with us. So that was kind of her insert to getting the paddle raise rolling. So everyone had their phone out, was taking pictures, having fun, and then we rolled right into it.
We should tell every one of our clients to do that. What a brilliant idea, because everybody knows how to take a selfie. It's kind of fun. They're smiling. They're taking a selfie of people at their table. And then they get hit with the, okay, everybody, send a text in. Yeah. We have a question. Did you make more money this way? Is it easy for you to analyze that, or just kind of a gut feel, or what would you say?
Yeah, no, that's such a great question, and we talked about that the other day. I would have to check just historically what our numbers were. I know for a fact that we did not see a decrease in our fundraising at all. But yeah, I'd have to see like how much more we raised specifically. Great.
Okay. And support, you got the support you needed to kind of help get this thing launched?
Oh my gosh, yes. I think it was Fred from your team. Oh, I was blowing him up with so many questions one time, and he was so helpful, and he just talked me through it on the phone when I was all anxious before our first event this past fall. But no, the support team is like really, really, really what made things so smooth and gave me the confidence in knowing what I was doing and updating everything in the back end and doing kind of the live offline donation updates, just because I was so, aware of how to work everything because of your team. So that was huge for me.
Let's do a few more slides and then we'll wrap this up. One of the other services that a lot of our charities use is this push of texting. So now that you've got 100 people from your event or 1,000 people at your event, why not keep using texting as kind of an adjunct to Constant Contact or MailChimp? So quite a few organizations are now using texting as a way to continue that messaging. It's two-way. People can opt in and opt out. And we had a great webinar about a week or so ago with Kimberly Woodard from Dillard. And if anybody wants to see the slides on that, just send me an email and I'll put it in here, Dave at GiveBySell, and I will send you a copy of the slide deck. But if you've been thinking about text messaging, let us know about that. People asked about pricing. We're trying to sign up 50 or so organizations from this webinar. Our normal price just for the mobile donation service is $2,000 a year. So the first 10 folks that want to take advantage of a $500 a year deal with a 3-year sign up, just email us or you can reply to that text. So $500 a year is what this will cost for the first 10 or so that sign up. Normally it's a couple $1,000 a year. The screencast and texting, it's a little extra, but if this looks interesting to you, then it's not too expensive. Here is Allison's name. Allison, if you feel comfortable, you can, in the chat window, put in an email address so people can certainly ask you questions.
Yeah, sure.
Other questions that you folks have, Julio also just sent everybody a little text, so you can reply to that text with a question with your name, anything you want, just to have you show how we work this. Bob's asking, what about the price? The price is normally $2,000 a year for this service. And in March, we have this $500 a year special deal just for you folks. The cost structure, let me do that. So it's normally $2,000 a year, and for a 3-year sign up is $500 a year. Is there a maximum size event? Allison, you had what, 200-300 people interacting at an event, maybe in one of your big events?
Yeah, the one we had a couple weeks ago was about 360, but our signature event from the fall was around 900 guests.
900 guests, right. So we've had events where it's been in a giant basketball arena where there have been 20,000 people. So chances are we can handle that capacity. If you want to do something every now and then, a big organization will call us and they want to do a big telethon, and let us know about that so we can make sure the carriers are aware that you might be getting 20,000 texts in an hour instead of over the course of several days. So normally the texting and the mobile interaction is pretty fast. Processing fees. You used your own credit card processor. Do you remember who you used, Allison, for your merchant processing?
Oh,
PayPal or Sage or somebody?
Gosh, again, another question I would have to ask our data coordinator. I don't know off the top of my head.
But the question here is there a credit card fee? And the charity still has to pay your own merchant processing fee. GiveBySell is not a merchant processor. We don't really care who you use. So pay your own fee. We have a little button on the donation form that allows the donor to reimburse you for your fee. And it turns out about 92% of donors are willing to do that. So your donation fee, you guys pay, but you can get the donors to reimburse you for that. And we have more questions. Barbara, are there costs per donation? Nope, there's no cost per donation. The Giving Day text that was just sent out, that was from Kim. How do you get that information? All right, Kim, that's a really good question. So let's just see if I can show you that. Let's just see if I can log in to the texting. All right, let me go log in to the texting. And find that. Hold on 1 second. All righty, here we go. Let me get to that so that you can see how these messages are coming in. So you would go to reports, or I'll even go to text messaging. And we have something here called text message Q&A. So here is, I'll be there with one guest, got it, and I can reply, thanks, see you soon. And I'll hit send. Or is this an example? Yep, it is an example. Got it. So I can say, great. So you can have a two-way conversation with people where they are asking questions and replying, and that is all captured in this dashboard. Got a question from Michael about a drip. Yeah, so we have a lot of clients that will set up drip, and what they'll do is they'll go here to send schedule a text, and I could say, hi everyone, this is Dave. Thanks for attending, and I can pick the list, and I can have it go out one time at 12:01 today, and I'll hit save. And at 12:01, everybody will get, hi Dave, this is a test. So you can set these drips up weeks and months and even years in advance, should you want to. Randy's got a question. Is this a platform just for events, Allison, or would you use it for kind of an ongoing 3-month campaign? What's your feel about using mobile donate for events or kind of as an ongoing way to raise money?
Yeah, so I believe when we had set up our code word originally, that was our code word for everything we were going to do with Get Buy Sell. So I feel like if you were going to set up a 3-month campaign, it's just a matter of communicating your code word consistently, and people can donate whenever, just as long as they have that information.
A lot of organizations are posting the code word now on your social media activities. So they're tweeting it, it's going on Instagram, it's going on the bottom of signature lines, it's going in business cards. And even when you development directors are having lunch with a potential donor, if the donor is interested in donating $1,000, don't have them go back to their office and write you a check. Have them take out their phone and text VAI to make that donation right there. So there's no reason you can't use mobile for ongoing. This started out as an event thing, but I think, Allison, you're right. It's something that if it's easy for people to make a donation to, and they're encouraged, they just got a flyer in the mail, they may likely take out their phone and just donate.
Yeah,
so I like
the convenience of it is just awesome.
Got a question about uploading cell numbers. Allison didn't do that because she was focused really on these events. But if you wanted to, we've got a way that you can upload a list of phone numbers and then send out text messages. You should only do that to people that have opted in to your list, or they will get irritated with you, but that's the way to go. Craig's got a question. Acceptiva, I've never heard of Acceptiva. I'll have to ask our engineers, Craig, about that. And Uraldi, can people RSVP to the gala by texting? Yep. You could send an email out to people And you could say, if you are interested in coming, text GALA to 56512, and then that all goes into this dashboard, and then you know their phone number, and you can continue texting them back. Any other questions? These are just great. Uraldi, wow, we love you guys. Okay. I don't know what, it sounds like something that Julio, who's in our marketing department, probably just logged in as Uraldi. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks for that. Any demo or free trial we can use to play with the backend? There's unfortunately no. We can show you a demo like we're doing here, but it takes us 4 or 5 hours to set these up and to get the code set up. So there's nothing that we can easily do, but we can certainly get you comfortable. And I'm sure, Allison, when you started, you were a little squeamish on whether this is going to really work. But you're our testament that it actually did work, and you made some money from this.
Yep.
So Uraldi's got a question. You guys manage and we support. Yes, whenever you need to talk to Fred, who is our trainer, or Casey, our customer success person, their phone lines are open, and Allison can prove that is a truth. Is that fair to say?
Yes. Yep. Fred was my hero one week. I was like, yeah, so many answers to all my questions. So they're great.
Randy's got a question. Are we a tech provider? Yes, Randy, we are. We're one of the largest in the country, actually. So texting for charities is just one part of our business. And the donating and the screens is just a subset of the charity. So yeah, we are, you're talking to one of the bigger players in the country on the texting. So we've got lots and lots of text message features. So you don't have to do any integrating. We give you your short code and keyword, and you're off. All right. Well, I think we're near the hour, so we're 25 minutes over, but that's because your fans liked you, Allison. So thank you for that. Any final thoughts or suggestions for folks that are just on the fence about whether they want to use mobile or not?
Gosh, I feel like we covered everything so thoroughly, but I did put my email in the chat. So
Great.
If there is anyone that feels like they want to reach out to a user, I'd be happy to connect with you and just answer any further questions. But yeah, overall, we are very happy that we made the switch, even though, like I mentioned, we were nervous at first too, but we've seen great results from it. So we appreciate just, what you guys have built there, Dave.
Well, thanks. It was easy. Only took 2 or 3 years to build this. So a piece of cake. Anyway, well, thanks everybody for attending. You guys and gals, the questions were super, and thank you so much, Allison. We'll send out a little fun text in the next few minutes to everybody, and then we'll send everybody out more info on the slides and the recording of the webinar. So thanks everybody, and thank you, Allison, and this concludes our webinar about removing friction from mobile giving. Thanks everybody. Bye. Bye, Allison.
Bye.